To create the second table, we follow the same procedure, but this time we want to use the design view to create the next table. That is the exam table. Now to do this, we go to create. Once we click on create, then we click on the table. And then we click on the view, then we will see design view. Now once you click on it, it will ask us to type the name of our table, which is exams. So we are going to enter exams table. And then we click on OK. Then this is the design view mode. We have the ID, which is the primary key, is set to auto number. We will continue to enter the other data, that is the date access. We type in Word, type in Excel, type in PowerPoint, we type in Outlook, and we type the customer satisfaction. All these are the modules that we are doing, and we are going to add one of the fields here to connect, to be able to help us to create a relationship between the students table and this exam table. So to do that, you have to type this ID that is inside the students table. So we have to type students ID. Now on the data type, this data or these fields that we have already entered are all fields that are going to accept numbers, because these are exam marks that we are going to be entering. So therefore we should select number for each one of these. So we are changing the data types to number. Okay, so the reason why we are also doing the student ID to number, because if you look at the student ID on this table, it is also a number that is accepting. So therefore, we should also choose number here so that the relationship can be on the same data type. Okay, the relationship on a different is on a different data type, the relationship will not be successful. So therefore, the data type you select on this field, which is the student ID on this field, is the same data type you are also going to choose here as well. So with this one also we are done. So therefore, we are now going to close. Or if before you close, you can right click and save, and you can right click again and then you close this table. Now we have two tables. We have virtually two tables with us. So what is next? What is best recommended is, before you create or enter data inside each of these tables, you have to first go and create a relationship. In order for us to do this, we're going to click on the database tools to allow us to see the tab or the icon that is the relationship icon. So we are clicking on the relationship icon here. This is the dialog box. It asks us to add the tables we are going to relate, and it happens that right now we have only two tables here. And these two tables, all that we have to do is to add both of them. So I'm first going to add the students table, and then add the exam table, and then close. Now, if you have added both tables, if you want to see all the records or all the fields, you have to expand this at the bottom so that you will be able to see all the list of the fields. Now, if you look at it, this is the students table, and this is exams table. And these two tables, each table has a primary key, which is an ID field. The exam table also have an ID field, which is a primary key. Now, these two fields, if you connect both of them in the relationship window, you will end up having one-to-one relationship. But in this exercise, we are asked to create one-to-many relationship. That means one student is allowed to take more exams, more than one exam. So therefore, this ID, the student's ID on the student's table, you have to click and hold the mouse and drag it across the table exams. And you bring your mouse all the way down until the tip of the mouse has touched the student's ID on this table. Then you release the mouse button. Then you will now have another dialog box that tells you that you have the student's table, which is one of the tables you are going to create a relationship with. Another table is called the exams table. So both of these fields will relate using the ID. So in order for you to continue to create this relationship, you need to enforce the rules for the relationship, which is called referential integrity. So we click on the enforce referential integrity, and then you will now see one-to-many relationship. The type of relationship will be one-to-many. Okay, so at this point we need to click on the create button. Then we will have a relationship created. We have one student that is allowed to do many exams. So this is the window for the relationship, and this is the perfect relationship that we have just created now. This window, the way these tables are arranged like this, it needs to be saved. You can also right click here on the name relationship and save, or you can even close the window so that it will ask you whether you want to save this or not. Now that the relationship is created, we will go to the next stage, which is allowing us to now enter data. We are going to enter the data. First, we are going to enter the data in the student's table, because the student's table in this relationship is the parent table, is the table that existed before the exams. So therefore, we need to create, we need to enter the data in the student's table first. So I have just double clicked on the student's table, and I will click on the first name and start entering data. First I will enter about 5 records. So I'm typing the first name. You can use any other name and any other data. So I'm entering this quickly. Okay, now we have to also remember that the date has a format of month before the year and before the day and before the year. So we need to be very careful of that. Still not accepting the data type that I have entered. So I'm not sure what is the problem, but we can always cross-check on the design view. The date is here. Let's select a format. We want to have a medium date, so we can click on yes, and then we go back. Let's see whether this time it is going to accept it. Still not ticking. I don't know what is the problem. Okay, so we can also use this date picker. Of course, the date might not be the date that we might want to use for the date of birth actually, because you have to click all this way before you can get the dates that you want. Okay, so I'm just going to use one example, and then let's see how that one goes. It's still rejected. It said the value you enter does not match the date type in the column. Okay, convert. Okay. Let me check. Okay. We can accept to leave it as a date as text. Okay, so this is a telephone number. Now we type the telephone number in the Gambia here is 3520250. Then we press enter, enter again. Then we go in for the next